On March 5, 2009, after years away from the spotlight, Michael Jackson stepped onto the stage at London's O2 Arena to face the world once again. Thousands of fans erupted as the legendary performer announced his return, a final chapter he believed would redefine his legacy. Under the bright lights and endless camera flashes, he delivered 3 simple words that would soon become unforgettable. This is it.
This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call. Okay? And I'll see you in July.
But the comeback the world was waiting for would never happen. Just weeks before Michael Jackson was set to begin his highly anticipated performances, everything changed. On June 25, 2009, the voice that had defined generations fell silent. Michael Jackson was found unresponsive at his home, leaving millions around the world in shock and disbelief. As fans gathered to mourn the loss of one of the greatest entertainers in history, a different story was unfolding away from the cameras. Behind the grief, authorities began searching for answers. What happened inside that house on that final morning? And how did a planned return to the stage become one of the most tragic moments in music history?
I did not give it to him.
Okay, so if you didn't put it there, who did?
Michael.
The footage captured on the night of June 24, 2009, showed a side of Michael Jackson that the world desperately wanted to believe in. Standing under the rehearsal lights, he appeared focused, energetic, and ready to prove that the king of pop could still command the stage. Just hours later, everything would change. Waiting ahead was This Is It, a massive comeback production scheduled for London's O2 Arena. What began as a planned series of only 10 performances quickly expanded into something much larger. The demand was overwhelming. After the first shows sold out, Egg Live added more dates, eventually turning the comeback into a 50-show commitment. But behind the excitement surrounding the concerts, a different reality was unfolding. According to Michael, this was never the plan. He later said he woke up one day and discovered that the number of performances had increased from 10 to 50. To him, it was not a gradual decision. It was a responsibility suddenly placed on his shoulders. Those close to him claimed Michael was deeply worried about whether his body could survive the physical demands of such an intense schedule. At one point, he reportedly called his mother and expressed his fears, saying he did not know if he could handle performing 50 shows. Egg Live, however, maintained that Michael agreed to the additional dates willingly after the initial concerts sold out, and that the expanded schedule was accepted as part of the comeback plan. But many people around Michael believed the pressure came from a much deeper place. Years of financial problems had left him vulnerable. The production had already required a massive investment, reportedly tens of millions of dollars, creating enormous pressure to move forward. As rehearsals continued in June, signs of struggle began appearing. Michael, once known for his incredible precision and ability to perform complex routines effortlessly, was reportedly missing rehearsals and struggling with the demands placed on him. People close to the production noticed changes. He appeared exhausted. He had difficulty remembering lyrics to songs he had performed countless times before. For the first time in his career, he was even considering using a teleprompter during performances. Those who had worked with Michael for decades became increasingly concerned. His longtime makeup artist, Karen Fay, later described how much weight he had lost, saying his physical condition had become alarming. Then came June 19th. The situation reached a critical point. During rehearsal, Michael appeared extremely weak. He was cold, shaking, and unable to continue properly. Director and choreographer Kenny Ortega became deeply worried. He tried to comfort Michael, helping him stay warm, giving him food, and eventually making the decision to send him home. At that moment, the world was still preparing for Michael Jackson's greatest comeback. But behind the scenes, those closest to him were beginning to fear that something was seriously wrong.
My friend wasn't right, that he wasn't well. There was something going on that was deeply troubling me. And I did ask him questions and he did answer me. I did feel though that he was not well.
But the growing concern around Michael Jackson's condition was not only coming from those closest to him. Inside the production team, Egg Live was also becoming aware that something was wrong. But according to later legal discussions and testimony, the focus was not simply on Michael's health, it was on keeping the massive production moving forward. The priority was clear: get Michael ready for the stage. And the person placed in the middle of that pressure was his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray. Murray had been hired to care for Michael during the preparation of the concerts, with his monthly salary being paid by Egg Live rather than by Michael himself. According to evidence presented later, the company wanted the doctor to ensure that Michael was physically prepared to complete the demanding schedule. In an email sent to Kenny Ortega, Egg Live executive Paul Gongaware wrote that Murray needed to understand that Egg, not Michael Jackson, was paying his salary, and that expectations came with that arrangement. The message later became a major point of discussion during legal proceedings. When questioned about the email during his deposition, Gongaware repeatedly said he did not remember certain details surrounding it. More than 30 times, he responded that he could not recall. Later, he explained that his words were simply business communication and that his intention was only to make sure Dr. Murray fulfilled his responsibilities as Michael's physician. But the email raised a much bigger question. Was the doctor protecting Michael's health, or was he being pushed to protect a production that represented millions of dollars and years of planning? As the countdown to the O2 concerts continued, the pressure surrounding Michael Jackson was reaching a breaking point.
Did you write that email?
I don't recall.
Dr. Conrad Murray's connection with Michael Jackson began years before the final chapter of the singer's life. The two first met in 2006 in Las Vegas, when Michael needed medical attention for his young daughter, Paris. That encounter created a relationship built on trust, and over time, Murray became someone Michael felt comfortable relying on. By 2009, as preparations for the This Is It concerts intensified, Michael was under enormous physical and emotional pressure. He needed a doctor who could remain close to him throughout the demanding rehearsal process. But according to accounts surrounding that period, Michael was also searching for something else: relief from years of suffering. For a long time, he had struggled with serious sleep problems, ongoing pain, and anxiety. His relationship with medication had developed over decades, beginning after the devastating accident during the 1984 Pepsi commercial, when an explosion left him with severe burns. Following that injury, powerful pain medications became part of his life. Over the years, what began as treatment gradually became something far more complicated. The physical pain was only part of the battle. After the intense legal and personal struggles he faced in 2005, those close to him described a man dealing with overwhelming stress, fear, and emotional exhaustion. Sleep became harder to achieve, peace became harder to find, and medication became something he increasingly depended on to escape the reality surrounding him. After Michael's collapse during rehearsals on June 19th, concerns reached a new level. The following day, an urgent meeting was held at his home involving director Kenny Ortega, Dr. Conrad Murray, and representatives from Egg Live. During that meeting, tensions reportedly rose. Murray pushed back against Ortega's concerns, insisting that Michael's health was his responsibility and that the production team should focus on preparing the show. Despite the warning signs, rehearsals continued. Murray reassured those involved that Michael would be ready. But over the next 2 days, the situation remained unstable. Michael either missed rehearsals or participated only briefly, while the production moved closer toward the final performance venue. Then came June 23rd. Something changed. Michael appeared transformed. The exhaustion seemed to disappear as he returned to the stage with focus and energy, rehearsing intensely for nearly 90 minutes. The next night, June 24th, brought another positive moment. He was in a good mood. He was performing. For those watching, it looked like the comeback was finally coming together. But when the rehearsal ended and Michael returned home, the final hours of his life began. Around 1 o'clock in the morning, Michael struggled to sleep. He asked Dr. Murray for help. One medication was given. It did not work. Another was tried. Still, sleep would not come. As the hours passed, exhaustion took over. By the morning, after spending the entire night awake, Michael was desperate for rest. He asked for a powerful anesthetic that he referred to as milk, the substance he believed could finally give him the sleep he had been searching for.
I got to sleep, Dr. Conrad. I have these rehearsals to perform. I must be ready for the show in England.
Under intense pressure and desperate for sleep, Michael continued asking Dr. Murray for stronger help. Eventually, the doctor gave in and administered the medication Michael had been requesting. It was a decision that would later become the center of one of the most closely examined investigations in music history. After the drug took effect, a recording was made inside Michael Jackson's home. The voice captured in that moment would become one of the final pieces of evidence showing the condition Michael was in during his last hours. A global superstar preparing for his greatest comeback was now lying vulnerable, exhausted, and searching for the rest his body desperately needed. But that night, the medication meant to bring him peace would become the beginning of a tragedy that shocked the entire world.
You believe the show? If you believe my show, I want to say, I've never seen something like this in my life. No. I've never seen nothing like this.
At approximately 10:50 in the morning, Michael Jackson finally fell asleep. After a long night of exhaustion and desperation, it appeared that he had finally found the rest he had been searching for. But this sleep would be different. He would never open his eyes again. Nearly an hour later, at around 11:50 a.m., Dr. Conrad Murray realized that Michael was no longer breathing. In that moment, every second mattered. A medical emergency was unfolding inside the room, and Michael's chance of survival depended on immediate action. But according to later investigations and court testimony, Murray did not immediately contact emergency services. Instead, valuable time passed while he made personal phone calls, including calls connected to his girlfriend and an insurance agent. As the world outside prepared for Michael Jackson's return to the stage, inside his home, a desperate race against time had already begun. And every lost moment would later become a crucial part of the investigation into what happened on June 25th, 2009.
The first port of call for a lay person is to call 911. They're calling for a skilled person. I am a specialist. I have the skill. I can start immediately. If you can do CPR as early as possible, that's great. But I don't know how long Michael was down.
So you didn't think you needed to call 911?
No, I'm not saying I don't need. I needed help. I needed help for sure.
Well,
but
911.
By 12:13 p.m., almost 30 minutes had passed since Michael Jackson was found unresponsive. Only then did Dr. Conrad Murray make the decision to contact someone connected to Michael's team. He called Michael Amir Williams, the singer's personal assistant. But according to later accounts, the urgency of the situation was not fully communicated. Instead of immediately explaining that Michael had suffered a cardiac emergency and was not breathing, Murray reportedly described it as a bad reaction and urged Williams to get to the house quickly. Those few words would later become a major focus of the investigation. Because inside the home, every second was becoming more critical. While people outside still believed Michael Jackson was preparing for his greatest comeback, the reality was that a desperate medical crisis was unfolding, and the questions surrounding those final moments were only beginning.
What did he say?
He said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm downtown." And he said, "Get here right away. Mr. Jackson had a bad reaction. Get here right away." And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, get somebody up here immediately. And
did that terminate that phone call?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Murray then called for one of Michael Jackson's security guards to come into the room. Alberto Alvarez rushed inside and was immediately confronted with a disturbing scene. Michael was lying on the bed, and according to Alvarez's later testimony, the situation appeared chaotic. Murray was attempting CPR, but questions quickly emerged about how those efforts were being performed and whether they were effective. The surface beneath Michael made proper chest compressions extremely difficult, and the actions inside the room would later become a major focus of the investigation. But what happened next raised even more questions. Instead of immediately focusing only on emergency medical treatment, Murray instructed Alvarez to help collect and move medical items from the room, including medication containers and IV equipment. Precious moments continued to pass. Only after these items were gathered did Murray finally tell Alvarez that they needed to get Michael to a hospital and call for an ambulance. The delay, the handling of medical supplies, and the decisions made during those critical minutes would later become some of the most heavily examined moments in the case. Because by then, the question was no longer just what caused Michael Jackson's collapse. The investigation was beginning to focus on a much bigger question. Could those final moments have changed the outcome?
Sir, we have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not.
Okay. Okay, how old is he?
He's 50 years old, sir.
50? Okay. He's unconscious, he's not breathing?
Yes, he's not breathing, sir.
5 minutes later, emergency responders from the Los Angeles Fire Department arrived at Michael Jackson's home. They found him without a pulse and not breathing. Despite the critical situation, Dr. Conrad Murray continued attempting resuscitation efforts before Michael was transported to the hospital. At 10:07 p.m., Michael Jackson was taken to Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, where doctors continued fighting to save his life. For more than an hour, medical teams attempted every possible measure, but nothing worked. At 2:26 p.m., the world received the news no one was prepared to hear. Michael Jackson was officially pronounced dead. The king of pop was gone. But even after his death was confirmed, questions surrounding those final moments continued to grow. Shortly after doctors declared him dead, an unusual conversation reportedly took place between Dr. Murray and Michael's assistant, Michael Amir Williams. Instead of focusing only on the tragedy that had just occurred, Murray mentioned the need to return to the house to collect a specific cream. That request would later become another detail examined during the investigation into Michael Jackson's final hours. Because even after the music stopped, the unanswered questions had only begun.
He asked, he said that there's some cream in Michael's room or house, room, that he wouldn't want the world to know about. And he requested that I or someone give him a ride back to the house to get it so the world, wouldn't know about the cream.
To get the cream so the world wouldn't know about it?
Yes, sir.
Williams immediately found the situation unusual. Only moments had passed since Michael Jackson's death was confirmed. Yet Dr. Murray's attention appeared to be focused on returning to the house to retrieve a cream. Something about the request did not feel right. Believing that Murray should not go back into the bedroom before investigators arrived, Williams quickly made a decision. He told Murray that the car keys had been taken by police, but according to Williams' later account, that was not true. Instead, he contacted security and instructed them to secure the property and prevent anyone from entering the estate. The goal was simple: protect the scene until authorities could properly investigate. Later, Murray explained that the cream he wanted to retrieve was a medication Michael used for vitiligo, a skin condition he had publicly spoken about for years. However, investigators and people close to Michael questioned why retrieving it seemed so urgent at that exact moment. The concern was that returning to the bedroom could have affected important evidence, including traces of the powerful anesthetic known as propofol. the substance that became central to the case. 2 years after Michael Jackson's death, the trial against Conrad Murray began. Murray maintained his innocence. His explanation remained consistent throughout the proceedings. He claimed he never gave Michael a fatal amount of medication. According to Murray's version of events, he had only left the bedroom for a brief period, around 2 minutes. During that short absence, he argued that Michael, overwhelmed by insomnia and emotional struggles, had taken additional medication himself. That claim would become one of the most debated parts of the entire trial, because at the center of the case was one question: who was responsible for the final dose that ended Michael Jackson's life?
I did not give it to him.
Okay, so if you didn't put it there, who did?
Michael.
The prosecution's case centered heavily on the testimony of Dr. Christopher Rogers, the forensic pathologist who conducted Michael Jackson's autopsy. Rogers challenged a key part of Dr. Conrad Murray's explanation. The defense argued that Michael may have taken the fatal dose himself during the brief period when Murray was outside the room. But Rogers disagreed. Based on the level of medication found in Michael's system and the condition of his body, he testified that this scenario was highly unlikely. In his opinion, someone under that level of sedation would not have been able to wake up, administer the drug, and complete those actions within the short 2-minute window described by Murray. His testimony became a crucial moment for the prosecution because it directly questioned the timeline presented by the defense and raised doubts about what truly happened during Michael Jackson's final moments.
Were you able to ascertain and make a determination as to the manner of death regarding Michael Jackson?
Yes.
And what was the manner of death?
The manner was homicide.
The verdict came 2 years after Michael Jackson's death. After a highly publicized trial, Dr. Conrad Murray was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. The judge sentenced him to 4 years in prison, the maximum penalty allowed for the charge. But Murray would serve only a portion of that sentence. In 2013, after spending around 2 years behind bars, he was released due to California's prison overcrowding policies and his conduct while incarcerated. Away from the spotlight that once surrounded the case, Murray's life continued in a very different direction. After losing his medical licenses in California, Nevada, and Texas, he eventually returned to the Caribbean. Years later, he opened a private medical institute in Trinidad and Tobago, where he continued his medical career while still maintaining that he was not responsible for Michael Jackson's death. But the story of Michael Jackson's final years cannot be reduced to one person alone. For many, Conrad Murray represented the final chapter of a much larger tragedy, a story that began years earlier. The 1984 Pepsi commercial accident introduced powerful pain medication into Michael's life. The intense struggles surrounding the 2005 trial left deep emotional scars. And the pressure surrounding the massive 50 Show comeback tour created a situation where personal health and business expectations collided. Michael Jackson's death was not just one moment. It was the result of years of pain, pressure, and circumstances that followed him until the very end. The world lost one of the greatest entertainers in history. But behind the music, behind the fame, and behind the headlines was a human story filled with struggles that few people truly saw. If you want to understand the complete journey of Michael Jackson, from his rise to global superstardom to the events that led to his final days, explore the full documentary. And if this story gave you a different perspective on the life of the King of Pop, share your thoughts, subscribe, and join us for more stories behind the legends.